What's up guys, leftstickrightstick here again, and we got another creator interview. Today we have MGS61794, an amazing movie creator in LBP, known for the Fabulous 4 series, Witches, Toll and the Pancake Ninjas. So as always, we'll be doing questions and then I'll be answering them as well. So off we go.
What's up guys? Favorite LBP game in the series and why?
MGS61794 has said Little Big Planet 2, hands down. Not only is it his favorite LBP game in the series, it's also one of his all-time favorite games. It's where he began getting into creating, and playing all the awesome levels made by the once massive community got him starting making his own stuff. And then he eventually settled on making films, and he hasn't looked back since. Little Big Planet 2 also holds a special place in his heart because it's where he met all of his best friends that he talks to still to this day. Interesting. He played the original Little Big Planet back in 2009, but it didn't have as much of an impact as much as the sequel did. It's probably because of all the new features in Little Big Planet 2. And then even with the release of Little Big Planet 3 and all of what he does now, and what he's become in terms of creator has started all with Little Big Planet 2. Interesting stuff.
Favorite or most useful character tool and why?
So he said this is a tough one. It'd probably have to be the sequencer in Advanced Tools. It's used in every one of his films to organize movie cameras, logic, and I guess all the sounds and everything as well. So the sequencer really makes the movies that he creates.
Where do you get your inspirations
from? So he says a lot of his early inspirations for creating films came from other film creators. So other film creators being Shane Elite and Samurai09, both other great movie creators in LBP. And after a while, a lot of what he does was based around working out ideas with his friends. So that's probably where the Fabulous 4 came around.
How long does it take for you to plan and make a movie?
So he says it depends on the film itself. If it's a random film where the ideas are thought up on the fly, it can take a couple of days. Other films like Fabulous 4 Episode 2 took months. The longest time he's ever spent on a single film was 7 months. That's quite a long time for just one movie, and especially if it's not that long. It's not that long as well in Little Big Planet, and a lot of that is because MGS6179 is his own worst critic in terms of what he determines to be quality, as well as being a professional procrastinator. I know we can all relate to being professional procrastinators. I think that's the one job everyone is good at.
What is your creative process?
So MGS61794 said that every film and level he makes starts with a basic idea. Then he builds around that idea and sees if it turns out good or not. So, for example, he'll build a set for something in mind, and then he'll find a different use for it after finishing it. His creative process is a little unorganized at times, but a lot of it really depends on what he's working on at the current time. So I guess it doesn't really have any set creative process. He just sort of thinks of an idea and just starts going with it and see where that leads him.
You mainly make movies. Any reason why?
So he says while it's mostly films he does make, it's not all he does. He's created a couple of hangout levels just for the sake of having a cool place to chill out by himself or with friends. So he's also made a light show that he actually spent 2 years perfecting. So and he also does have a few non-film related ideas that he might work on in the future, but nothing too crazy. So it's not just movies that he's focused on, but pretty much just what he has made.
Have you found LBP3 better for making movies, and why?
He said it is much like how he made films in Little Big Planet 2. LBP3 just provided more tools for him to use, and allows him to add a bit more detail in terms of sackboy animations and a bit more freedom with the movie camera. But not that much freedom, but a little bit more. And it allows him to make better stuff. But it also makes it a bit harder due to the increased potential that can be achieved with all these extra features and tools. So it's not necessarily better. It's kind of the same, but it does allow for more options. You can do more with the stuff in LBP3. So he wouldn't necessarily say it's better, but it is more open.
What's your favorite movie that you made?
Okay, so his favorite movie that he has made, he actually hates this question because it's completely impossible to tell. But because every film that he has published is something that he's proud of after it's done, so he doesn't actually publish it unless he's proud of it. And currently, the one he's probably most proud of is The Witch's Toll. That was actually very impressive, and I think just because it's the level of detail and everything just works well.
Would you ever look to make a playable level for your movie?
So he's always wanted to try making an interactive film where you can choose the outcome of the film in terms of progression among the characters, plots and conflicts. But that's probably the closest he would get to a full-fledged level. So he's not really looking to make like platformers or whatnot. But he would like to look into making an interactive film where you can just make decisions and then that'll affect where the movie carries on from there.
What are the main obstacles to creating you have when working on a project?
Pure laziness is the biggest obstacle. That and working with others. He's mostly a solo creator and he works best when he's alone. But that doesn't mean he won't work with others. It just takes longer because there's more people involved. It takes more time to agree on stuff, and you're probably more likely to get sidetracked and procrastinate when more people are involved as well. So it's all worth it in the end though, because most other people involved end up making the film 100 times better than it would be without them. So it's good that he's working with others. He likes working with others as well to some extent. It's just that's probably one of the obstacles to actually working and completing a project as well.
What features and tools do you wish existed in LBP?
Multiple magic mouths to overlap with each other instead of being allowed to only have one activate at a time. Because this could be used in many different ways, like having two people arguing and talking over each other at the same time, or having a crowded area of people talking at the same time. I see, so that's why a lot of the movies, that you see in films, they take turns when the voice is being played. It's because you can't actually have overlapping mouths, which is a real shame. I think actually, that would actually improve the quality of a lot of films. It would add a lot of atmosphere as well as, just make things flow a lot smoother and faster. So yeah, that's actually a good wish to have, multiple magic mouths overlapping. Click that like button if you agree.
So your Comatose project is on hiatus. Care to share what you are working on now instead?
He said that a lot of the reason Comatose is on hold is because he simply lacks the motivation to work on it. He'll probably get back to working on it one day, but he can't say when. As for what he's working on now, the film with a bunch of random skits composed into a single film. So he plans to have a preview of that film coming out soon. He's actually put soon in inverted commas. So we probably shouldn't expect that all too soon. It's also followed by a lull, yes. So maybe that'll come eventually. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. Something that's similar to Pancake Ninjas.
Any special tips for creators?
So he's mainly giving tips for film creating. If you're just getting into film creating, or if you've been creating for a good substantial amount of time, the best advice he can probably give is just to create something that you want to make. That is a sentiment that is shared by a lot of creators we've interviewed. It's just create what you want and don't care about what other people think. In terms of improving as a creator, he said that the best way to get better is just to keep practicing on create mode and just keep at it, just keep trying new stuff, and you know, just keep practicing. You should try something you normally wouldn't, and you know, try get a good understanding of the LBP logic system. So you know, it's just about keeping at it until you know you get better. If you can work every piece of individual logic in the game has to offer, you can create anything you set your mind to that's within the game's limits. So it's all about just taking the time to practice and understand each feature and tool that's available to you in the create mode.
What are your thoughts on the state of movies in the LBP community?
So he said that the popularity for film creators has become almost non-existent, and also I've noticed there's less and less, well not really less and less, there's less good quality movies coming out. I think just because they're not as popular as, you know, gameplay levels. And I think that, and he said that he thinks that a lot of definitely has to do with the fact that films are much harder to make because you are basically making a level that plays itself. I think there aren't enough good films out there simply because a lot of the best film creators have moved on to other things outside of LBP, which is probably very true. Because you know it is quite difficult to make a movie, I think, in LBP, and that, you know, the people who are good enough will probably explore that talent outside of LBP as well, which is leading them off of LBP at the same time, which is a real shame. But I hope there'll be more film creators in LBP coming up soon.
What kind of creations would you like to see more of in the community?
He said that he's seen just about everything you could ever think of within the community levels, but he thinks a cool concept would be the interactive film, which he's trying to make himself. He hasn't found one yet, but he would really like to find something that is similar to an interactive film. So that's also probably a reason why he wants to make an interactive film himself, because he thinks it's a cool concept. And if there's anyone that knows of any interactive film levels out there, let me know in the comments below so we can all check it out.
Who are some of your favorite creators?
So he's gone with Samurai09, another movie creator, Steve Big Guns, Lady Lin, X Disarmed Pro X, and he said there's lots more of those, but those are pretty much the big ones that are his favorite creators. Interesting list there.
Who would you like to see us interview next?
So he would actually like us to interview EPICLBPTIME, and he thinks it'll be very interesting to see, which is very possible. I've spoken with EPICLBPTIME a couple of times to arrange this. We just haven't really got down to finalizing a date where we can actually get there to do an interview. But that is definitely on the cards, so definitely look forward to it. And you know, be sure to subscribe, guys, so that you know when that interview happens. And you can also check me out on Twitter at LSRS Games to be notified as well in the meantime. But that was the interview with MGS61794, a really great movie creator, the Pancake Ninja himself. So I hope you check out all his movies and his hangouts if you haven't already. There'll be a link in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed this interview and found it useful especially in terms of movie creating. So I hope you definitely check out more movies in Little Big Planet, as well as MGS61794's movies as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. You click the like button below and you subscribe to leftstickrightstick, and I'll see you guys next time on the next interview, which will be Danix87, person behind Little Big Planet 3 tutorials as well. So see you guys next time, and I hope you guys enjoy.